So I recently played through Quantum Break for the first time a couple weeks ago. I'd started it about 3 times before, just never got through the first chapter. And honestly, the only reason I bought the game is because it was on sale on Steam. And I read the reviews claiming it was an awesome game and that it was underappreciated. So after finally playing through it fully, what do I think? Well, I have to agree 100%. How in the world have I never heard of this game on a critical level? Well, this game was an Xbox exclusive, and I only owned an Xbox for a short time in 2017, so maybe that's it, but I feel like the game should have received so much more attention. This may be the one game that Xbox has that actually compares to, well, some of the Sony exclusives. It's also one of those games that truly shows the potential of linear games. The story went above and beyond, and you can tell the developers put so much work into the game, like more than you would expect from a game developer. The cast consists of some pretty big names, most notably Shawn Ashmore, who's played in X-Men, Aidan Gillen, who's played in Game of Thrones, Lance Reddick, who's played in so many things and voiced a lot of characters in different games.
From Jack Joyce's transport. It should have arrived here by now. We may have a traitor on the inside.
I mean, what even was the budget for this game? The game alternates between the story in the game and a live-action TV show, and believe it or not, the TV show is unbelievably well done. And of course, the story between the beginning and the end of the game can vary depending on the player's choices. Some of the choices are kind of hard to make, but, well, I won't spoil anything. But I found myself constantly on the edge of my seat just wanting to make it to the next scene to see how everything plays out, and the character development was sweet. I was constantly alternating between which characters I did and didn't like, but basically the story revolves around the idea that you can't change what happens by going back in time. Everything is set in stone, but you're constantly wondering, is it? And how? But what about this? And there's no way. And the developers added some pretty neat things in the mix where if you interacted with certain things, it would show up in the live TV show. For example, and this may be a minor spoiler, which if you're worried about that, please pay attention to the screen. But there's a point where Jack turns on a radio that is playing a Goofy audiobook, and it's playing through an entire Monarch PA system. And fast forward to the live show, and one of the main characters, Martin Hatch, walks into a room and hears it and asks, "What's this?" And the soldier replies something along the lines of, "I don't know, it just started playing." It's just a really cool touch and makes the player feel involved with the outcome of the future. The gameplay itself is also a lot of fun. You get powers that you slowly start to learn and can upgrade by collecting these things called chronon particles. Using the powers is really satisfying and really makes you feel like a badass. And of course, all the powers are essentially time controlling or time manipulating powers. For example, you can freeze certain enemies in place and stack bullets until the shield around the enemy eventually collapses and everything inside it explodes with the force of, 30 bullets. There's a power that allows you to run and dash fast enough to get out of enemies' line of sight and confuse them. A power that basically creates a shield around you. I really enjoy the powers, and I think they add a nice touch to the gameplay. Additionally, there's just enough chronon particles to fully upgrade all your powers by the end of the game. You don't level up too fast, and you're not left with some powers you still need to upgrade by the end of the game. Some of the moments in the game were so unique and just so well done, you just can't help but imagine how they managed to pull everything off. It's not often that a game really has you focused on the game development process rather than just mindlessly playing through. There really is no game quite done like Quantum Break. There's sad moments, intense moments, and some real mind-blowing moments, and by the end of the game I couldn't wait to play through again and make the choices I hadn't made before to see what I missed out on. I'm kinda disappointed I hadn't come across this game sooner, but glad nonetheless that I got to play. So, while I did overall enjoy the game, there are some issues I had with the game as well. Mostly it was an Xbox port and I played on PC, and I would often have bugs that would either cause the game to crash or cause me to have to restart it myself. Also, when I first started playing, I wasn't able to get 60 frames per second. I was kinda capped out at 30 frames per second, and the game was kinda laggy and weird, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it just kinda started working. But these minor issues didn't really ruin the game per se. It just kind of made it frustrating sometimes when you would be in the middle of something, or even sometimes I would have a bug and every time I would restart the game, that same bug would keep happening and happening and happening until eventually, for whatever reason, I could finally continue without experiencing the bug. Regardless, Quantum Break is still a very good game, and I wanted to give a rather late review on it just because. If you haven't played Quantum Break yet, I highly recommend it, especially if you like great stories. And also especially since this same development team is coming out with a new game that is quite similar called Control. I highly recommend checking it out. If you're playing on PC, just make sure you have at least 90 gigabytes available on your hard drive. But anyway, I just wanted to give a short review. If you liked it, please let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and please feel free to give me some recommendations as I plan on releasing gaming related videos in the future. Until then, much love and peace.